So, hi all. Welcome to a new series of Workshopper Talks. We have started our previous online conversations with automotive professionals from around the world almost 1 year ago when COVID-19 first struck in European countries. Back then, people faced a completely unknown threat and many reacted with maximum energy powered by the adrenaline of the uncertainty. In the middle of the turmoil, many good things happened, and trends that were expected to take 5 years to be implemented were a reality in less than 12 months. At a global level, in spite of dealers closed, factories closed, and sales slumps of 80%, nevertheless, for many automotive companies, 2020 was not so bad as initially expected. But now we are in a completely different moment compared to 1 year ago. People are tired from the pandemic war. And by other hand, vaccines are beginning to be distributed. The problem is that adrenaline is not being as effective in boosting the reaction. But the final stage of this war needs a balancing, infection reductions, vaccination reach, and economy recovery. This final stage needs a deep vision, a sharp focus, and maximum energy. Since the first lockdowns and after the great success that was the Workshopper Conference 2020, we have talked with more than 100 automotive leaders from different countries. With Workshopper Talks 2021, we want to keep an open channel with automotive leaders to energize our audience during this last stage of this fight. Now, about this first episode of the Workshopper Talks 2021. In the end of January, BMW announced an automotive free cash flow of 2.8 billion for 2020, the deploy of online sales in 2021, and new digital after-sales upgrades for future models. Elder Boavida, President and CEO of BMW Northern Europe AB, will give more details on these strategies and help us to better understand the future of automotive. Elder led and achieved great recognition in markets as diverse as Portuguese, Mexican, Brazilian, and now in Europe. Let us call here Elder. Hi. Hi, Elder.
Ricardo.
How are you?
Fine. Nice to be with you again, Ricardo.
Nice to be with you and hear of you again. And it's great having you here because everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Everybody wants to see you and hear what you have to say regarding the future. So you are coming from, not coming now, but you have been in Brazil and now you are in Stockholm, no?
Yes, since 2 years in Stockholm, yeah. As you can see behind me.
Yeah. At least colder.
And now it's more white, so this is a summer picture that we have here in my room as a background, but now it's completely white, so it's actually snowing at this moment.
Okay, so let us start by asking you. How is it possible for an OEM to earn money during a pandemic year with temporary closures of factories and dealers? We have already talked about this, while navigating one of the biggest disruptions faced by the car industry. How was this possible?
It was with a lot of work, we should say. And when we were, it was a very tough year. Actually, one of the toughest years that I ever had in this industry. It was quite challenging and very interesting. but really very tough. Just to precise a little bit your number, Ricardo, actually we finished the year with not with 2.8, with 3.4 billion euro in terms of free cash flow. 2.8 was actually the number of the last quarter, which was a very strong quarter, already quite above 2019. So overall was 3.4, and we should end the year close or on the range of the 0 to 3%, but on the upper range of this corridor in terms of EBIT margin, which is, I mean, at the end it's good comparing, I mean, with the start of the year. So, but you ask how was this possible? So several factors here. So one of the factors, it was the production, let's say, flexibility that we had in our company. So we were able to shut down basically all the plants and restart again in a period of a little bit less than 2 months, but do it very quickly. So quickly shutting down and quickly starting up again, which is really sometimes even more difficult to start again than to shut down. We had during all this time a very, very tight stock management. So, I mean, from one side, cash was king in this period, and that was done with a very big discipline in all the markets. On sales, as you mentioned, we did in 1 year what we all the brands probably were trying to do. So we were forced to do in 1 year a lot of stuff and really develop a lot online sales. And then during all this period, we launched almost 20 new models, which is really also very interesting. And actually, so after that moment, and then in May, June, the market started really to open. And as I told you before, the last quarter was really a very strong quarter and a very good one.
So it was really possible to maintain active all the industrial part and commercial part. So let us talk now about your personal experience. What did you learn from the pandemic experience as an automotive professional?
And lots of learning. So the first one, Ricardo, is that yes, it's perfectly possible to digitalize all the sales process, but also at the same time we could understand better how can we combine that with the physical presence on the dealer. So when we talk about omni-channel, we never experienced by so, let's say, closed what omni-channel means, and this is exactly what we felt this year. So these transitions between configuring the car on your sofa, having contact via video conference with the salesman, seeing, let's say, simulations, seeing presentations of the real car on the showroom, and then probably a couple of days later being on the showroom to discuss some more details with the customers, and then going back, and then probably even in many cases, the car, after being, let's say, the negotiation concluded, delivered at the customer premises or the customer office or home. So all this was possible, really mixing a lot between digital and physical presence. So it was really interesting. Another important learning was used cars. So initially we had a strong, let's say, stop, but very quickly the used car business developed fantastically. It was one of the best years in terms of the used cars. So it was really, I mean, fantastic to see. Not really very big news, but again, a confirmation that after sales, it's backbone of this business. And we saw in the case of the Nordics, we end the year even still with this very small growth on the after sales business compared with last year. And this was basically crucial for the dealers to reach 2020 with a very decent level of profitability in their operations. So actually the dealers in the Nordics, they were quite happy with that. So same level than the previous year. And then also from the way that we manage the team here, we learn a lot also, because we have, of course, had to send everyone home from working from home. So keeping the people motivating, keeping always a high level of communication with the people, it was really very, very, very important learning. So we all learn how to do that. Let's say in terms of distances, we all did coffees or ficas, as we do here in Sweden, and virtual dinners with the people, sometimes even late on the day with a glass of wine at each one at their homes. So to keep the people, let's say, connected and engaged and motivated, that was really interesting. And what we learned also, or at least what I learned here, is that probably in the future we don't need such a big offices as we have today. So we are actually working on keeping this home office policy, at least at a certain level. We don't need to have it at 100%, and with that we can reduce probably office space that we are using today. So
and especially regarding this thing that you were talking about, is especially offices might become a special place, not the place that you go every day, but the special place where you get together and create together. Isn't this an opportunity for transforming these spaces?
It is actually. You need clearly a space to interact socially. To have bigger meetings with more teams. It's not easy. Sometimes we do here. When I do here meetings with all the staff, it's 400 people attending via digital channels. It's not easy. So that's, of course, much more easy to communicate when we have, larger meetings, when we need to engage more people in some projects, when we need sometimes to meet customers and to meet dealers. And of course, the physical communication is much more easy. But for the regular job and for, let's say, individual tasks or one-to-one or shorter meetings, working from home, of course, it's perfectly possible.
Okay, just for you to know, we have tens of messages in LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, with compliments, with people saying, "Hello, Elder, how are you?" And so it's just for you to know. I'm not sure that you are connected with in this moment to the social media.
Not at this moment. Not at this moment.
But you will see after. You will see after, because there are lots of people sending you messages. So after testing online sales in selected markets,
all the best for all of them.
Yeah. They are definitely. There are lots of people from Portugal, Brazil, and so on. So it's great. So. Nice. Regarding this question of online sales, after testing online sales in selected markets, BMW will deploy these options in other places in 2021. And I would like you to ask you what are the advantages of this strategy, both for customers and dealers. And I say dealers because in the beginning, we always thought about digital sales without dealers. But it doesn't need to be like that, though.
No, actually, that's a very clear option for us. So it's very clear that the dealers, for us, they will remain as the backbone of our distribution system. So we want to keep it like that, because actually we really learned that the behavior will not be just 100% digital. So we will have a mix. And we want to keep it. We want to keep it like that. And we are now really developing several digital tools. We are now spending 3-digit million euro every year on developing digital tools, and this will be like this for the next year. So we really want to develop this part. And so, as I told you before, so creating this entire online customer journey completely seamless. It's really what we want to develop even more. So we think that this will be extremely convenient for the customers, because they don't need to go to the dealer all the time. And for the dealers also, because they will have much more access, or much more easy access to the customers, and they will have much more powerful tools to support the customers also. So this is really a very big advantage, and this is really something that we are investing heavily. Starting, I mean, we started already next year, but we will have a huge acceleration this year on this strategy.
Okay, so with your extended experience of Portuguese, Mexican, Brazilian, and now Nordic markets, would you say that digital customer expectations are very different from a country to the other? Because of course customers are different, but in terms of digital expectation, what do you think about this?
Yeah, but not on the purchasing behavior and on the convenience needs, Ricardo. So yes, the type of product, even buying a BMW or a Mini, it's completely different market to market. Of course, customers in Mexico or in Brazil, they buy much more petrol engines, and in the Nordics, namely in Norway, they just buy electric cars or plug-in hybrid cars. But the process itself, I mean, it's absolutely the same. So, and this is actually also the same segment of customers. Normally people that have easy access to these technologies, and they want the same. So they want exactly the same. And the level of use, I actually don't feel so much difference between a customer in Sweden or in Norway or in Mexico City or in Sao Paulo or in Lisbon. So it's the people behave exactly in the same way. They are all digital natives today, I would say.
Quite interesting. So let us speak about Norway. You are close to Norway, side by side there, with 50% of market share. Battery electric vehicles, 100% electric vehicle sales have outpaced the sales of combustion and hybrid powertrains in 2020 in Norway. So what can other European countries learn from the Norwegian route to electrification in terms of customer acceptance, dealer strategy, used car markets evolution, and more? Please tell us as much as possible about this, because that's really a benchmark that we want to know more about it.
I think we can all learn, and including the governments, they can learn a little bit also, because I mean, if we want, let's say, really to change, let's say the way that we are being mobile, of course, tax incentives are important for that. And basically today, Ricardo, for example, in Norway, if you have a battery electric vehicle, you don't pay VAT, you don't pay road taxes, you don't pay circulation tax, you don't pay tolls. Just in this kind of thing, so on road tax, on tolls, and things like this, it's easy to save between 250 and 300 euro per month. I'm not talking about the value of the car. So this is basically how things started in Norway. So basically their strategy is to facilitate completely the use of electric vehicles, and they are already saying that after probably 2025 they will start to probably charge the electric cars, but they will make it almost impossible to use a combustion engine. So this is basically how the thing starts. So, but in terms of the behavior of the consumer, we are seeing now we saw like 3 different phases during this last 8 to 10 years. So the first phase was basically the adherence and the interest from the electric cars, and the only concern, every electric car was a special car, was almost a kind of a premium car, and the big let's say concern was the range, the autonomy. Then we get on the second phase, where actually the people start to be more concerned with the speed of charging, with infrastructure. So the infrastructure in these countries, namely Norway, really developed a lot. Today it's very easy to find superchargers everywhere. You can go from Oslo to the mountains driving a few hours, and you always find a way of charging your car. So at the beginning it was more difficult, but now it's really getting better and better. And now we see a third phase, where the customers are really becoming, let's say, much more expert and much more acquainted with this kind of technology, and they are really much more critical in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the consumption of the electric car, and also in terms of the sustainability of how much sustainable is the car, how much sustainable is the brand that is selling the car, what's behind the batteries, what's behind the policy of acquisition of raw material for the electric cells, what's the production process, what's the recyclage system. So this is really something that the customers are interested today, and this was a big evolution. From the dealers, we saw also, for example, on the used cars. At the beginning, there was some afraid of the behavior of the residual values of the cars after some years because of the technology. So I can tell you that we are selling BMW i3 since 8 years now. Fantastic residual values, even in Norway with a high volume of BMW i3. Fantastic residual values, really behaving very well. This technology, it's more and more reliable, so there is basically no big issue. So the car, they really have a good value as a used car. And in terms of after sales, and that we have really a very good experience in Norway. We were expecting a much higher impact in terms of the after-sales business compared a battery electric vehicle with a combustion engine than we are actually seeing. So that's quite interesting.
Are you mentioning regarding profitability in terms of after-sales service?
I'm mentioning, for example, the amount of turnover per throughput that you have on the workshop.
Okay.
There is a difference from ICE car or from a PHEV or internal combustion engine or a PHEV car, but much smaller than we could expect some years ago.
So what we are seeing here in other countries, especially in the south of Europe, regarding residual values of electric cars, is that the used car market of BEVs is not enough mature right now, exactly to have some hope regarding those residual values, because in reality, a used BEV is a perfect used car. It's very reliable. It's a car with less maintenance. And it can be very good as a used cars, no?
But that's our experience. Actually, for us, that's not a problem at all. It's actually an opportunity. So it's the fact that we have used cars in stock, BEVs. So it's for us, it's an opportunity, and it's not a problem for the dealers. So they really want that because there is natural demand, of course.
Yeah, because with used cars you can lower the price, and the price is still a barrier for BEVs.
But as you know, we measure many times the residual values in percentage based on the net retail price of the car when the car was new, and consistently the residual value is higher on BEVs today already on the Nordics than is on the other cars. So that's really the way to go, and the used car is confirming that also.
And sorry insisting in this theme, because I think it's very important, and your experience now, it's very important regarding this theme. In terms of having, you've said that you are selling the i3 for 8 years, yes? So do you have problems with the batteries, real problems with the batteries? Because this is a great a great thing in terms of residual values, no?
No, exactly. I mean, the question is when you are trading in this kind of cars from customers' cars already with 5, 6, 7 years, and then you resell the car in perfect conditions and with no problem. So the technology is really very reliable, and the customers they really feel it also. So it's not a problem. So that was actually one of the problems or one of the fears that we had some years ago when this technology was launched, but not at all. They are super reliable cars and with a very easy, let's say, maintenance also. So easy to have reconditioning and to prepare the car again, so to be sold.
To put in the market again. Yeah.
Exactly. And with natural demand, that's what more interesting, that we have demand for those cars.
Yeah, because is what we are talking before. It's having electric cars with a different price point, a lower price point, is a big point now, because electric cars are still expensive. No, still more expensive than similar cars, combustion cars. So. Recently, BMW announced that more optional equipment will be available through digital after-sales upgrades. And besides equipment, can we expect BMWs to get better with age thanks to software updates like the wine?
Yeah, it's so regarding the updates. Yes, this is something that we will start to do. We have already, for example, now. Software updates in most of our cars, so remote software updates, and you can compare, for example, an X5 from 2018 today. The car can be completely updated compared with the new car that we have, with for example the latest navigation system, with a lot of improvements on the control units and on the software that we use. So today, a used car that has this kind of possibility in terms of upgrades, it's a much fresher car than it was before. Of course, the car exteriorly, if we have changes on the design, can be changed. But let's say in terms of the use and in terms of the functionalities, the cars are much more fresh today than they were before. Regarding the options, this is something that we will start to do that, which is having some, let's say, options that might be dormant in the car, and they can be activated following the convenience of the customer. Imagine that you are coming here for the Nordics with your BMW, and you have now, like we have now -9, -10, and you really feel the need to have a heater on your steering wheel. So you can activate that for 1 week, and then you pay for a week, and then you don't pay more, because then you don't need. So this is kind of advantage that this technology brings, which is extremely interesting. And this is just an example, because you can do it in much more other equipments and options.
So another business area for automotive, no? So
yes, this is what we call option as a service. Actually, it's an interesting business.
Yeah. Okay. I have lots of questions here, but I have one that I think it's important regarding the residual value of the used cars. And here, Nuno Gonçalo Matos asks us if what guarantees are offered on batteries of used cars in case of BMW in the northern countries.
We had 7 years for the batteries in terms of the
used
warranty.
Okay.
For the new car. New car, used cars are sold depending on the countries, but between 1 and 2 years of warranty, depending on the used car program that we have.
Okay, so let's go into the last question. And it's the $1 million question. When do you see a clear and sustainable recovery of the European car market? As here are people from Mexico, Brazil, and so on. If you want to speak in a more global approach, you can speak. It's up to you.
Yeah, I can speak. I mean, with based on the way that we see it on the BMW Group. So overall, not just from the Nordic perspective, but on the BMW Group perspective. So we see now, for example, in Europe. And not just in Europe, that we are now being hit by this hopefully last wave of the COVID, and stronger and stronger. But we feel also that even with the lockdowns and with a lot of people affected, the business is going in a much better pace. So we get used to this. All of us developed strategies. So we don't see a dramatic stop of the business. So things are flowing. Of course, we feel some some ups and downs, but we can manage this kind of waves in a much better way. So having said this, we really expect that now with the increase of the vaccination and the pace of the vaccination, after the end of this quarter, we will then see a sustainable growth on our business. And we maintain, from the BMW Group perspective, we maintain, let's say, intact our hopes and our aspirations of having a year with a very strong growth compared with last year in our sales. So we are quite optimistic about that. So hopefully this will go. Hopefully forever.
I think we are all desiring that this goes, and it's very important, Elder, in this last stage of the war to keep fighting with very much energy, very much resilience, because it's this what let us win in the first wave of COVID-19. So thank you very much. It was again a big pleasure, and you have thousands of messages to see in your social media, in YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much, Elder. Thank you very much for being here, and we will continue with these workshopper talks now in the last stage, hopefully, of the COVID-19 war, in order to energize, to give energy to the people, to give positive thoughts, realistic but positive thoughts. So goodbye, bye-bye.
Goodbye,
thank you.
And thank you, and keep safe.
Okay, keep safe for you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
Ricardo. Bye.